Greetings, you may not have heard of me yet, but today I decided to try and make a YouTube series in which we will together build a Titan. And yes, that is one of those big ships you can see on the screen right now, so let's go ahead I guess. But before we actually get started on this, let me first introduce myself. My name is I401. In EVE, I'm the CEO of a Nullsec corporation. I started this corp when I was absolutely new and had no clue about the game really. And now we've been in Nullsec for almost half a year now, so we can't be that terrible I guess. We are also a rather small corp, well, rather. That is also why I did decide to make this video series, to show that even the most absurd idea is really possible if you just really want to do it and just put some thought into it. In the end, effort is all it really takes in this game. Also, let's be honest, everyone wanted to have a Titan at some point when he played EVE, simply because of how cool and big they are. Like, even if not useful, at least they are awesome to look at and a massive coolness factor. So, how do you build a Titan then? Well, to build a Titan you will need a blueprint. And this blueprint will require sub-blueprints, because you will need to put parts into the production of the Titan. It's not built from minerals, it's built from parts, but those parts in return not need minerals. And not too little minerals, you're looking at about 100 billion. So that will be fun. And did I mention that you need to own the system you build in? That means you have to hold sovereignty over it, which only allows you to build Titans in Nullsec. And that means you can't build them in wormholes. Also, you will need a Sotio, as far as I know. I have not built them in smaller stations, but I'm pretty sure you need a Sotio as well. With out of the way how we can build a Titan and assessing the cost, we now come to what we could do to actually afford a Titan. First, we have to realize for a solo player it is nearly impossible. Farming 100 billion will take a solo player close to a year. And that makes it good that we're in a corp, right? But even in a corp you will need to have activities that generate your income. You can't build a Titan just by farming high sec all the time. So for this I considered two activities which are the most consistent and also the most scalable activities, especially if you do them with others. The first and maybe most obvious choice to anyone who played EVE is ratting, which means we kill NPCs for profit. For this you can potentially use any ship, but it is only really worthwhile for farming a Titan if we have a carrier at least, and maybe a Supercarrier at best, even though that puts us at high risk. If you take a look at the description, you can read why it is dangerous. Income wise, you're looking for the carrier at maybe 80 to 150 million per hour, while a Supercarrier can make you in the same time up to 450 million per hour. Another thing you can do while ratting is to potentially run a second account to salvage wrecks. Especially if you have rare spawns that you can loot and salvage, your income can be a lot higher. Although carrier ratting is really good for single person, there's another activity that is more profitable, especially if you're not alone and have people to help you in your project to build the biggest ship in the game. And this activity would be maybe the more obvious choice for building a ship, and it is mining. And if you're mining the biggest ship in the game, you might as well have at least one ship of the biggest mining ship in the game. I mean, that kinda is self-explanatory. Also, the Rorqual is the ship that boosts all the other mining barges around you the most, meaning every mining barge around you will make close to 3 times as much as it normally would make. And I'm not sure if the numbers on the screen are absolutely accurate, but those are the numbers for me that I get with my boosting skills, which are not 100% perfect. You can potentially get a lot more in boosting out, but I'm close enough to it. What you also have to consider with a Rorqual is that a Rorqual is a lot more expensive than a carrier. And you're also potentially looking at a ship that can't run away, because when you're mining, you're in siege, and when you're in siege you can't warp and can't move. That means you either have people who protect you if you're being attacked, or you're basically dead, or you beat them yourself. Considering that the Rorqual is one of the strongest ships in the game and tanks a lot, like really a lot. It's basically a dreadnought, but in mining ship form, shape. That means you're looking at a ship that makes you a lot of money, that you can do stuff together with other people, and maybe it's less boring than just sitting alone there pushing buttons for hours on end. Well, now that we have a basic idea of activities that we could use to bankrupt build a Titan, we now have to consider which Titan we actually do want. Considering I already have a Titan, which I never mentioned, we should maybe take one that I do not have yet. So I will make a vote for this at a later date. Not yet, because nobody is actually watching my videos, so it would be a very lonely vote. And during that vote, you can decide which Titan you actually want to build at the end. I mean, the resources for every Titan are basically the same, so it doesn't matter. But now for the future, we will also not only build a Titan. The whole goal of this project is to really just develop ourselves and get to a point where it is not impossible to build a Titan. You can in theory build a Titan with just a single mining rod, if you do decide to sit down for literally dozens and dozens of hours. But is that really the goal? I don't think so. So, yeah. But enough of theory now. Next time we will take a look at how those activities actually perform in-game. If you do have questions or want to suggest something else we could do to get Titan, feel free to ask in the comments. In the description I also left the numbers that were listed in this video and also some comments on why I think this or that activity is not as good as people think, and also why I did not mention some activities here. But massive thanks for actually watching my video. This is the first time I've actually done a video like this, and it was quite a lot of work because it had some preparation involved. So it would be cool if you would watch next time as well, even though this was most likely rather boring. But as I said, thank you, and I hope I see you next time too. Goodbye.